tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Happy Hump Day Wednesday. I'm Tyler Keefe alongside Kevin McIntosh. And Kevin, the penultimate episode of the week for us here on the Splash Live. A quick programming note to open things up. We got one more show on Thursday, then a big show on Friday morning. But it's been an exciting week so far and a lot ahead of us.
Man, Tyler, you hit it right on the nail on the head, I should say. Yeah, we're getting over the hump of the week. Happy to be here per usual. It's another day, fresh day, which means we have fresh opportunities to be a better person and achieve our goals. What's going on, Tyler?
Yeah, plenty going on across the community. As we mentioned, a penultimate episode of the week today, and then that's because Friday, we're not going to have a show at 8:30 as we do each and every morning here on the Splash Live because we got something else special going on, Kevin. We've talked a lot lately about volunteers making an impact in our community, and Friday morning at Temple Israel, we will be celebrating many of those volunteers as they get their due recognition, not maybe the recognition they were seeking when they made these projects or sought out these opportunities to help the community, but we will celebrate them nonetheless and give them their much overdue flowers at the Michigan Week Community Awards Breakfast. That will be live on Civic Center TV on 89.3 Lakes FM, on our Facebook and YouTube pages, all the usual spots that you'll find the Splash Live, 7 o'clock a.m., bright and early at Temple Israel. Of course, registration's closed, so the only way you can really join us now if you don't have tickets already is to be with us live across our network. There's plenty of reasons to celebrate these volunteers. We had a chance recently to talk with Carol Hack, one of the people, ironically enough, who runs the Michigan Week Committee as a volunteer herself, about why it's important for us to celebrate our volunteers and what's at the heart of the volunteer spirit.
People who volunteer their time to whatever their desires are should be felt valued by the community. So that's a big reason why we get together 300 people to recognize all these wonderful people that we have in this community. But that's not the real reason they volunteer. They do it because it comes from their heart, because they want to help others who are in need. It does not always have to be organized driven. So like I said, it could be an individual child, it could be an individual adult who will come into the schools and read to the children. Rotary Club does that on a consistent basis, but the PTOs do that too. So those people can also be recognized. And it can be any idea that an individual has that he or she feels helps the greater good of another person or another organization.
And that's the really big point that Carol made there, Kevin, is it's anything that people do in our community. Volunteerism is such a broad spectrum of work that's being done. It's anything that's impacting an individual, a group, or the greater community as a whole. So we'll have a chance to hear about a lot of people, both adults and even very young children from our local school districts in West Bloomfield and in Bloomfield Hills and even in Walled Lake Consolidated School District. It kind of is one of that times where we bring the entirety of our community and even some of our surrounding neighboring communities together and celebrate something really worthwhile.
Like we continuously talk about on the show too, Tyler, like not only is it good to spend your time to volunteer to help out for the greater good of the community or just the consensus in general. I think we have to also give recognition to the people who are recognizing the volunteers, because other than that, they'll just be working with no recognition. Now, granted, they probably don't do it for the recognition or the awards, but at the same time, everyone appreciates when they are acknowledged for the work that they do. So to acknowledge the people who are acknowledging the people, we have to give them credit too.
And it's a really important day. It's a beautiful ceremony each and every year, and we hope that you will join us as well. Again, bright and early, 7 o'clock on Friday morning. You can celebrate our volunteers with us right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. If you want to join along in the celebration and give your thanks, I suggest you go to our YouTube page at Civic Center TV or Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, so you can tune in, see the full festivities, and give your comments and your thanks to our volunteers across our community, and celebrate maybe those that you're working with across our 4 communities and beyond. Closer to home, right next door to us at West Bloomfield Town Hall, Tuesdays are a little bit brighter as friends and colleagues break bread during the workday. We sent our reporter Jake Schaff to learn more.
Tyler, Kevin, so many new and exciting aromas are making their way over to Civic Center TV, which can only mean one thing. Food Truck Tuesdays are back right here in West Bloomfield Township. A weekly lunch service with a rotating array of food trucks and selections sure to make everybody happy and to fill their bellies with some very delicious food.
Well, this is the very first food truck of the season. We have Food Truck Tuesdays here on Civic Center campus. We started in 2018, so this would be our 6th year. And we have Cousins Maine Lobster here for our first food truck of the season, and it's a pretty popular one. Each Tuesday from 11:30 to 1:30, there's a food truck here on site. We're situated here right between the library and the Parks and Rec building. And we run through May through September, so it'll be going through the end of September.
It's fun because, we don't have a ton of restaurants in West Bloomfield, so it's like bringing different restaurants to the township. And it's just a lot of fun for people to do, all different ages. Plus, it's right by the library, Parks, and Civic Center campus. So if people are coming here to the township, parks, or the library, it's really nice to kind of stop and have an activity and have some good food. The food's really good.
What are some of the other food trucks that are coming up in the coming weeks?
So we usually have a great variety. So there'll be Mexican food. This is a really popular one because this is the one with the lobsters. And sometimes there's sandwiches. There's even sometimes different beverages. Like you could come for a coffee truck or a smoothie truck. And like I said, it's every Tuesday. And we have a list printed so people can get that information, or they can call us at Town Hall and we can let them know upcoming food trucks. They always blast it to the township employees to remind all of us so that we could just walk over on our lunch hour.
What do you hope an event like this brings to the community as a whole?
So when we first started the Food Truck Tuesdays, the goal was to bring community together from the community, from our staff in any of the buildings on campus. They can all come out, get a chance to meet each other, talk about whatever happens to be on their mind, and have a nice lunch option also.
The first year was pretty much just us at Town Hall, right? We'd come here for lunch, and then over time it's been spreading by word of mouth really more than advertising, and people have started to really come and really enjoy it. It's just something different to do. It's a nice way for neighbors to get to know neighbors, and we have such a beautifully diverse community here in West Bloomfield, so people just meet a lot of different kinds of people, and like I said, they get to try different cuisines.
It's nice out. It's finally a great chance to get some fresh air, get a nice lunch option, and meet some of your local, staff members that work for your township. So it's great for everyone.
Just being around this environment is already making me very hungry. I'm gonna go get some food myself, but while I do, be on the lookout for future Food Truck Tuesdays right here in West Bloomfield Township, and hopefully we'll see you stop by to get some nice food and to enjoy the summer weather as it makes its way to Michigan. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Appreciate the report, Jake, and I know that when you were out there on Food Truck Tuesday, being that this is, of course, Wednesday today, that you did have a nice meal out there and enjoyed some time meeting some new people from across our 4 communities, and, of course, getting to know some people that run the township. Really cool event, Kevin, and that's why they began this. They initially began this as a way for people working in the township to kind of get to know each other across departments, and maybe some people will come in from outside and get to know some of the employees, and it just grew into something a lot bigger and became an annual tradition in the past several years.
It's great visuals to see too on civiccentertv.com if you're watching with us also, Tyler. One thing that I noticed that, a lot of people may oversee is no one out there was wearing culture jackets for the most part. Jake Schaff himself was wearing a nice, comfortable polo, which indicates to me that the weather was great. And that is a great indication of a great time to spend outside with the community, enjoying some great food during a lunch break while you're at work or something like that. So great event. I'm looking forward to making a stop there too.
Yeah, just what the people need here in our community. A little bit of sunshine, some friendly faces, and some good food. Every week, Food Truck Tuesdays, you can learn more information about the upcoming food trucks, decide maybe which cuisine you want to try out or what excites you to get over to Town Hall. WBparks.org/Food Truck Tuesday has the full listing for the spring and summer of 2024. In Orchard Lake, the police department is wanting you to be advised that Indian Trail will be closed for a portion of the day today on Wednesday due to some construction. It'll happen earlier on this morning around 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. You can expect the roadway on Indian Trail to be closed as some construction will be happening on nearby homes. Barricades will be going up to prevent people from getting onto Indian Trail. Those will go up at Orchard Lake, at Commerce, and at Seminary Roads, the three that do ultimately cross over onto Indian Trail. Residents will still have access. We know that it's a residential area of the city of Orchard Lake Village. Those residents will still have access to it. And again, it's expected to be a limited closure, 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. You can get more updates and more information on this and other potential road closures in the future by following the Orchard Lake Police Department on their Facebook page at Orchard Lake Police. Kevin, it's Mother's Day this coming Sunday. We want to get people out and about and celebrating, of course, their mothers and, of course, having some fun out in the community. A chance to do that and find some special Michigan-related gifts and good reads with our friends at the Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. At the main library, the Friend Shop will be open for a special sale on Mother's Day from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Michigan-made products will be available and, of course, plenty of books for purchase as well. And we know the Friend Shop is run, like we've already talked about a lot, by volunteers who are from the Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Those purchases not only help the Friends of the Library and the library with events and other initiatives all throughout the year, but also, hey, get some unique, fun gifts and spend some quality time with your mom on Mother's Day. What a great idea from the Friend Shop.
Absolutely. Look at them. And I love that we're supporting Michigan businesses, local businesses and vendors and things. That's what it's really about. Keeping the dollars circulating right here within our community. And then, get something nice for moms. Of course, we love moms. Get her something nice, something that speaks to her, something a little bit better than those handmade macaroni cards we used to do, which I'm pretty sure she still appreciates.
Hey, look, I'm a gift overthinker. So, no better way than spend some quality time. That's always a good gift to give to anyone in your life that you care about. But also then go out and be like, hey, look, something interests you. There's your Mother's Day gift as well. Now we don't have to do the guesswork either, and we're supporting our community. More information on the Friend Shop can be found and the sale as well on Facebook at West Bloom LIB or on WBLIB.org. Another big day ahead at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. A week from today, Wednesday, May 15th, a New York Times best-selling author will be appearing at the main library. Melanie Benjamin is a best-selling historical fiction author and will be at the library at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, May 15th. She'll talk about many of her books, including The Aviator's Wife, The Swans of Fifth Avenue, California Golden, The Girls in the Picture, and more. She'll also be signing books for those that attend the event, and Schuler Books will have some of Melanie Benjamin's works available for purchase as well. You do need to register, however, to attend this event. Best-selling author, going to get a good turnout over there at the main library. So sign up now and learn more information on Facebook at West Bloom LIB or, of course, on WBLIB.org. Plenty of great opportunities, Kevin, for book lovers in our community to get out and about in the coming weeks and enjoy some good reads and meet some of the authors, too.
We're all about books, advocating for books, physical hard copies and things of that nature. I'm all for it. The knowledge in these books, what we cannot find online. Now, yes, it does take up space and people call it old school, whatever the case may be. But like I said, trust me, the value of books and the knowledge within these books You can't necessarily put a price on it. So I highly encourage any and everyone, have some books at home and take advantage of sales and events like this where you can grab some books and take them home.
All right, more information, wblib.org. That's where you'll go to register again, Wednesday, May 15th at 6 p.m. New York Times bestselling author Melanie Benjamin at the West Bloomfield Township Main Library next door to us at Town Hall. Kevin, we know that May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. Not only do we want to focus on our mental health because it makes us feel better overall, but it also affects every other aspect of our health, from our physical to our emotional and our social health as well.
Yes, just finding out myself that May was Mental Health Awareness Month, man. I'm actually glad because, you know, us talking about it and bringing people on the Splash Live to talk about it is kind of helping me a little bit through some of my situations, and I'm glad. So joining the Splash Live right now to talk about an event that's coming up that I feel like we can highlight with Mental Health Awareness Month. Our minds, our bodies, the physical effect of emotions. This is an event with elements every day. And joining the Splash Live right now to talk a little bit more about this, founder and owner of the Karen Faith LLC, we have Karen Faith Gordon joining the Splash. Thank you so much for joining us, Karen.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes, we have a very special, unique event going on right now, or I should say that we are anticipating going on. Can you just tell us a little bit more about the inspiration behind starting Our Minds, Our Bodies, the Physical Effect of Emotions, and what we're expecting from this event?
Thank you. Yes, I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and the scope of my practice focuses on the transitions that happen as we age. And since we're all aging, there's always something to talk about. And especially as we move into what might be considered the later part of our life, there are a lot of changes that happen post-retirement, post-diagnosis. There are things that come up that affect us physically, and those changes sometimes really fundamentally shift the world as we see it and have known it. And talking about it, putting it out there, and for me to be able to hold space for people to be able to be with their feelings, experience them safely, and look at that vulnerability in a way that allows them to process those emotions can be very healing in all of the ways that you might think, socially, emotionally, physically, mentally.
Yes, I know the connection between the mind and the body. When your mind gets clouded, it slows you down, slows down your production. As you get older, you know, I guess you could say typically you start to slow down a little bit also. So it's even more important to make sure you keep your brain sharp, because your body may not work like it used to, but you can still keep your mind fresh and keep things going when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, your mind staying on top of things. So I 100% appreciate you even mentioning that. Can you just talk about the theme of mental health awareness and how you feel like this event exactly ties into mental health awareness, and just express that for our audience, please?
Well, as you mentioned, and there's a great book about this, the body keeps the score. You know, we are spiritual beings in physical bodies. We get to move energy, and we can move our energy through physical movement. We can also move it by stimulating our minds. And what I see in the work that I do is a lot of stuckness when people are unable to channel whatever it is they're going through in a safe way. Sometimes people feel that they don't want to be a burden to friends or family, and they may need to have another space where they can sort of get out of their own heads. A lot of times the things that are in our heads that feel so heavy and feel like they're keeping us stuck, those thoughts lose power when they're illuminated, if you will, and when we talk about them and process them. So in the spirit of Mental Health Awareness Month, yes, this is incredibly important and extremely relevant for everyone who is experiencing any hardship throughout their life and can use a space to connect with others, engage, and be affirmed that their experience is shared by others, that there's a common humanity among us, and that we can learn from each other and support each other and lift each other up.
100%, 100%. Joining the Splash Live right now, talking about her upcoming event, Our Minds, Our Bodies, the Physical Effect of Emotions. Her event coming up May 9th, as a matter of fact, at 7 p.m. We have Karen Faith of Karen Faith LLC joining the Splash Live. Now, Karen, when it comes to mental health, just in general, there's usually a stigma behind it. I mean, whether you want to consider it good or bad is subjective, but ultimately, how do you feel like events like this that you will be hosting kind of fights against that stigma of mental health?
Thank you for naming that. You know, when we name it, we can again shed some light on something that would otherwise perhaps be avoided. A lot of people don't want to talk about things or look at things that make them feel the vulnerability that is maybe just beneath the surface. And these kinds of opportunities to come together allows us and enables us to reframe some of the constructs that are holding us, hostage in our own minds, if you will, around things that actually, once they can be talked about and processed and shared amongst other like minds, can really be strengthening and empowering to someone who otherwise was feeling perhaps defeated or feeling extremely weakened by something that they felt was so heavy. When once they've been in the conversation and been able to process it and frame it in a way that allows them to shift the narrative, there is new hope, there's new perspective, and that can bring a huge shift in the lives of people who are going through something.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I already know, this isn't your first go round when it comes to events like this. So I would imagine, right? And actually, I want to give you the opportunity to speak on this. Have you seen any attendees from your events or similar events like this? Have you seen them like go through the development of growth to change through the effects of some of the events like this when it comes to the mental state or their body? Or have you gotten any feedback from someone who's attended one of your events to talk about how it has helped them kind of change their thought process and how they look at their body by any chance?
Yes, thank you for asking that question. It's a great question, and it speaks to one of the greatest rewards of my work. It is so incredibly gratifying to see the joy that can come from those moments of I used the word earlier, illumination. That wow, there's another way to look at this, and I get to choose how I respond to this situation. I didn't realize that I had been acting out of habitual patterns that have been hardwired inside of me. And there's nothing bad or wrong about that. It's about naming it so that we can look at it, talk about it, and also find our common humanity. And once that affirmation happens, for many people, it is incredible to see the shift from a space of feeling isolated and sort of, just down to a space of being uplifted and empowered to realize I'm not alone. And in as much as my experience feels really challenging right now, this movement, either in a class or through learning about something through a presentation, has shown me, or meeting someone at one of these events who is walking a similar path, and I would have never known that had I not shown up in this space, that changes everything. And it's awesome to behold.
Absolutely. And I know just being proprietor of that, like an instructor and helping people find and make those connections has to be a very fulfilling, just feeling just in general. So I'm glad you elaborated on that, Karen. Just real briefly, just give out a little bit more information about the event. Why West Bloomfield? Why should the residents and community of West Bloomfield come out and benefit from this type of event, Karen?
I love inviting people into this space that is it's a landing spot for people who want to learn, want to grow, want to connect. This event specifically is going to talk about where we hold our hurts, so to speak. Not just our hurts, though. What's really important is that our body holds joy, it holds love, it holds grief, it holds sorrow. And we all experience this whole palette of emotions throughout our lifetime. And we often don't recognize or realize that those gut issues that we're having, or that stiff neck that we just can't quite get the crink out of our neck.
Yeah.
Have we talked about and thought about how what we're holding emotionally is showing up in our bodies and manifesting as symptoms of other things? That's what people can learn about and talk about, and we will and get some takeaways about how to self-regulate, how to breathe, how to move, how to identify and be aware of the things that your body is telling you when you're emotionally stuck.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, be aware, be mindful, and events like this can help you make that connection. Our minds, our bodies, the physical effect of emotions being taken, hosted by, I should say, excuse me, Karen Faith Gordon, owner of Karen Faith LLC. Thank you again so much for your time. For more information on this event, you can visit KarenFaith.LLC or ElementsEveryday.LLC. Karen, again, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kevin.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tyler, let me tell you something, man. I am so glad that we found out it is Mental Health Awareness Month. If I'm being honest with you, I've been going through some tough times and challenges these last couple of weeks. Haven't shared it. But talking to professionals like this is kind of giving me a lot of perspective right now, man. And it's been distracting me and kind of, pulling me to different sides, but I'm glad people like Karen and other professionals are putting things, like I said, into perspective and kind of keeping me grounded. So great information and from Karen right there, Tyler.
It is, and that's really what's at the heart, I think, of having these discussions during Mental Health Awareness Month. And even beyond that is bringing that awareness, that just those conversations, even a couple of minutes, just a couple of ideas for strategies that you can employ today or in a couple of days, or next time you're feeling a little bit down, to take that step back. I know I've been feeling it too. Also, a lot of the stressors that come into play with doing a very heavily involved job like we do over here at Civic Center TV.
Man.
You got to take those steps back, take those times to breathe, find a new perspective, and try to move forward with some positive outlook in all the things that are happening each and every day. We know everyone's living a busy life, and that can definitely take a toll on your mental health. So we thank Karen and other mental health professionals that have joined us recently and will continue to do so over the month of May. On another note, you have a chance to learn about some interesting creatures here in the greater West Bloomfield community in the next couple of weeks. This time of the year, we start to see a lot of bees out and about, and some people are afraid of them. They think that the bees are antagonists to us humans, but they're actually really helpful to our local ecology, our plant life, our food distribution, and so much more, which is why West Bloomfield Parks and Bees in the D are partnering on May 19th from 10 a.m. until 12 noon for a Beekeeper for a Day event and hive tour at the Carner Farm in West Bloomfield. We're joined now by Brian Peterson, who is the co-founder of Bees in the D, to talk a little bit about this and some of the wonders that bees provide for our local ecosystems here in greater West Bloomfield and beyond. Brian, thank you for being with us. And as we start off, just tell us a little bit about some of our local beehives that are right here in West Bloomfield and how they impact our local community.
Yeah, so we love our partnership with West Bloomfield Parks, and we have hives at Carner Park where the community garden is. It's a great fit so that the garden is being pollinated. And we love to educate people about our pollinators, using those hives to share about bees, and not just our honeybees, but a lot of our different local bees that are a part of our communities as well.
And this is going to be happening on May 19th from 10 a.m. until 12 noon at the Carner Farm in West Bloomfield. You can register to attend this event right now as we speak on wbparks.org. And so, as we get closer to this event, and we're heading toward the peak season really for the beginning of honey season and bee season here in the greater West Bloomfield area and across the state of Michigan. What inspired you in this partnership with West Bloomfield Parks to create this event to show people what a day in the life of a local beekeeper is kind of like?
Well, one of the key pillars of Bees in the D, our nonprofit, is education. And we feel it's very important to help educate people about our pollinators and how they are so instrumental in our food industry, but also our ecosystem. And what better way to do that than with some of the local community parks? And West Bloomfield has been one of our largest supporters in getting the word out there and helping to educate people. And it's really exciting for people to just get a taste of what it feels like to be a beekeeper. It's not that they're committing necessarily to be a beekeeper, but we get them suited up. They get to go into this incredible world and get to see what is happening in those hives. It's so complex. They're considered a superorganism, and after the tour, trust me, people understand why.
What are some of those common misconceptions that people do have when they go out to these events with Bees in the D, not just in West Bloomfield, but across the Metro Detroit area, that are most often getting squashed when they do have an experience like this with some of our local honeybees?
Well, the first thing is we tend to just plop every kind of almost flying insect into the category of bees. And they're actually a lot more diverse than what people realize. In Michigan alone, over 460 different species. But wasps also do exist. And we tend to always say these bees are so horrible. If we're at a picnic, the bees are bothering me. Those are actually not bees at all. They are a wasp known as a yellow jacket. And so when we go in the hives, I think the biggest surprised by people is they're expecting, even though they have the veils on and the suits on, that the bees are going to be attacking and want to get them, but that's not the case at all. The bees are continue to work, going back and forth, in and out of the hive, heading out to flowers, because that's what they're concerned about. They're not concerned about our picnics or the cider towards the end of the summer. And so people are very surprised at how docile the bees are and how they almost are like, welcome to our home. Just, close up when you're done and make yourself at home. Take a look at what's going on in here.
And for an experienced beekeeper like you, that's an interesting point, because these bees, regardless of if a beekeeper is tending to them or not, they're going to have their colonies, they're going to venture out, they're going to pollinate flowers, they're going to go and build their hives and do these processes anyway. So, how do they often respond to this more situated environment that they're kind of being moved towards or, inspired towards with these local hives?
Yeah, that's a big misconception that bees actually flourish even better in an urban environment because of the diversity of life. Bees have really adapted to coexisting with humans, and thank goodness for that, because I sure enjoy the diversity of food. And really, we have our bees and our pollinators to thank for that, because they are responsible for pollinating most of the foods that we grow. And I don't know about you, but I sure love a lot of our fruits and our nuts and our vegetables. And so they're gonna go out and they're gonna do their job, because what they're doing is it's kind of a win-win. They're pollinating to get the nectar and the pollen from the plant. But what they're doing is, when they're doing that, is they're passing the pollen from a boy flower to a girl flower, and that then pollinates it. So the bees are getting the food that they need, but then they're also creating the food that we need. So it's quite a really cool symbiotic relationship that's going on there.
Yeah, and one that has so many layers to it too, because it's not just that symbiotic relationship between the bees and and our local plant life, but also between the bees and us and our local plant life as well. All of which you can learn more about on May 19th from 10 a.m. until 12 noon at the Beekeeper for a Day Hive Tour at Carner Farm in West Bloomfield Parks in partnership with Bees in the D. You can learn more and register for this event right now. $30 for residents, $35 for non-residents, and registrations available on wbparks.org. And Brian, in terms of the activities that people will participate in, not just learning activities and educational activities, but they'll be able to have a chance to get a little bit hands-on. Tell us more about what they'll experience if they do come out to be a beekeeper for a day.
Yeah, so I always start it with education, talking about it, expectations. I like to hear what they think, especially if they've never been in a hive, what they're expecting. And then we actually suit up. We get on the bee suits, the gloves, the veils, and then we head into the hives and we open up the hive. We do use the smoker. I show them the basic tools that beekeepers use. And then we can take some of the frames out. And we get to look for many different things in the hive. I want to show them the whole life cycle, looking for some egg, the larva state and the pupa state, and of course the adult state. And we're looking for actually the girl bees, which are the workers in the hive. And those are the ones you see in your gardens that are foraging. But there's also drones, which are boy bees, a little bit larger, that we'll look for. And then, of course, that needle in the haystack. We're going to be looking for royalty herself, the queen bee, which we don't always see, but there's one per hive, and it's always fun when we get to explore and possibly see the queen bee as well.
Yeah, only one way you can do that. You got to be a beekeeper for a day with Bees in the D at West Bloomfield Parks at Carner Farm on May 19th from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. Again, more information on this event and ways you can register on wbparks.org. You can also learn more about Bees in the D on their Facebook page at Bees in the D. Joining us is their co-founder, Brian Peterson, on today's edition of the Splash Live. And Brian, as you've done these events, not only in partnership with West Bloomfield Parks, but at so many other locations in the city of Detroit and around the Metro Detroit area, what have been some of those special moments that you've experienced? Tell us about a couple of them maybe that you've experienced where you've seen someone, see that impact that bees really can have on our communities.
Yeah, I love to see some of the misconceptions just melt away, where people actually even have great fears, and I'm so proud of them for being willing to try this event. And they walk away going, wow, like that was nothing like I expected. And we love that our organization was able to bring back the Girl Scout patch as well. It was discontinued a few decades ago, and now we have a very strong program with the Girl Scouts of Southeast Michigan, where we do much like what we're doing at Carner Farms, where the girls get to go into the hives, but then they do a project that helps our local beekeepers or our bees or planting natives and educating about the importance of our native bees to earn that patch, just to bring to our next generation that important message of our pollinators. So those are a few things that really it's just very special for me, especially as a teacher. But I also, we get to do a lot of fun stuff with honey. You mentioned honey, and it is a byproduct. And luckily, the bees are very productive, and they make extra honey. And so then we get to enjoy that. But it goes beyond just putting it on your biscuits. We have taken some courses where we now are honey sommeliers, much like a wine sommelier. And so we have events that we do where we actually educate you of how to smell and taste honey properly, much like you would wine. And so we have some of those events coming up. We're doing a honey pairing where we pair our honey at Bee Nectar in Ferndale with mead, which is a honey liqueur. So it's fun to be able to use some of those things to enjoy a really unique evening, but also learn about the bees at the same time.
Yeah, education an important element of it, but also the work being done not only by our bees, but also by our volunteers and those participating in these hive opportunities with Bees in the D and West Bloomfield Parks. Again, May 19th, 10 a.m. until 12 noon. Registration available on wbparks.org. Brian, anything else for us before we let you go today?
No, I just continue to plant native. That's so important. And just, I really encourage people to be a voice of the bees, for the bees, to help people understand that they do have a lot of misconceptions. And it is swarm season. So I think it is worth mentioning that bees sometimes will split up apart from their hive and form this large ball of bees. It's a little intimidating, but instead of spraying, contact us right away and we'll come out and collect that so that we can put them in a hive where they can be safe and monitored and taken care of. And please join us, like you said, on our webpage at beesthd.com under events. We have a lot of fun events that you can get involved with, learn more, or even volunteer, including the Beekeeper for the Day with West Bloomfield. So, so fun. Join us. I promise it will really be an experience that you have never had before.
It will open your mind to something so important to our local ecology, our bees. Brian, thank you so much for your time.
Always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Always happy to have Brian on the show to talk about Bees in the D, the efforts that they make, not only in West Bloomfield, but all throughout the Metro Detroit area, including with some hives in the city of Detroit, too, Kevin. Seen a lot of his stuff, talked to him a lot over the past several years about his efforts throughout the community. And what's really interesting is always hearing about how these bees thrive in more urban areas or more heavily populated areas, which kind of also brings another interesting thought to that, because you would think they would thrive away from human interaction and interruption, but it seems that they do really well in there, and that's all that kind of stuff that you can learn by joining in on the Beekeeper for a Day event.
That was a good interview, Tyler. By the way, I'm always so curious about bee. First and foremost, my mother would have something different to say. She's allergic. She's running the opposite way of a bee, regardless of what kind it is. But I had so many questions myself. Do bees sleep? Where do they go during the winter time? I just had some corny kid, immature questions, but that was still very, very good information to just know that, it's a whole ecosystem that bees help us out with. So don't go swatting them and killing them and things like that. There's ways to kind of handle them and make sure that they still contribute to the environment without being harmed and things of that nature. So great information, man.
Yeah, thank you. And more information can be found on Bees in the D on their website, beesinthed.com, or you can go to the West Bloomfield Parks website, register for that event. Again, it's going to be May 19th. That is a Sunday at Carner Farm in West Bloomfield, wbparks.org, or visit them on Facebook at WB Parks. Brian Peterson, of course, an educator doing a lot of work educating the community on our local bee population, the ways that they impact our community. But in our classrooms, our teachers are making an impact each and every day on our students across all grade levels. And this week, we are appreciating them, showing our love for our teachers in the West Bloomfield School District, as it is Teacher Appreciation Week. And among the many ways that our teachers are impacting our students is through mentorship. And so I want to talk to a couple of educators in the West Bloomfield School District who are leading that charge each and every day. Joining us now on the program are Liz Costello and Stephen Toy, both educators in the West Bloomfield School District. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, glad to have you both on. Liz, let's start with you and talk a little bit. When I mentioned mentorship being a really critical part of what teachers provide to our students outside of the lesson plans that they're teaching in the classroom each and every day. Tell us a little bit about the teacher mentor program that's been established. It's sort of a partnership between the school district and the teachers union, the West Bloomfield Education Association, to provide that mentorship very specifically for students across the district.
Yeah, we have, I've been in the position for 3 years now, but it's been in existence for, I don't even know, multiple years, even when I started. where every new teacher that comes to the district, whether or not they come with experience or they're coming right out of college, they get a mentor. And if you are a new teacher, years 1 through 3, you have a mentor for 3 years, but we help them transition into their new position in West Bloomfield. We provide supports through academics. We'll give them a lot of curriculum support. We have support with friendship, with guidance, with anything that they need done in the classroom. They can get it either from their own building mentor. We have a mentor at each level, elementary, high school, and middle school. And then I run the program, so I have release time in the afternoons that I can go visit all the new teachers, see whatever it is that they need support with. We plan professional development throughout the year, along with get-togethers, so they're feeling the support from colleagues in the same position as they are as new teachers, and also just a way to get to know everybody in the district.
And Stephen, as a teacher in the school district, having a number of years of experience teaching our kids in West Bloomfield, knowing what the experience is like for a teacher in our school district, why is a program like this important for those that are coming in and just starting in our school district at any level? Maybe it's their first job in education, or maybe they've been in it for years. Why is mentorship for our new teachers in West Bloomfield an important effort?
That's a great question. And I'm glad you pointed out that the mentoring program was originally designed mostly for teachers who were new to the career. When the mentoring program started over 20 years ago, I was a new teacher here in the district, and I went through it. And it was really designed for people who maybe were new to the profession and this was their first teaching job. Teachers come out of college sometimes at age 22, 23, or 24. And they're jumping into a job with a lot of responsibility and a job that takes a long time to master. And so the mentoring program was a way to pair up with experienced teachers who had a lot of classroom experience and to learn from them. For our teachers who have more experience, it's a way to come in and kind of learn the systems and the cultures that we have in West Bloomfield. So we are a district that really values the 4 C's, being collaborative and creative and being communicative in our classroom. We want our teachers to emphasize all those cultures and those practices in their own professional relationships in the district. So it's a good way to kind of bring people into the district and teach them about the high ideals that we have. It's a wonderful program. Liz is doing a great job as our lead mentor coordinator. And this program is a cooperation between the West Bloomfield Education Association, the Teachers Union, and the district. We have a common interest in making sure that we have good retention of the teachers that we have now, and that we're recruiting the best teachers to come to West Bloomfield too.
And Liz, Stephen mentioned it, the building on the culture of the school district and acclimating our new teachers entering these jobs to what West Bloomfield schools are all about, and whether that's in the individual classroom, in the individual school, or district-wide. What does that mentorship look like? Because for some of these teachers, they have been in different teaching situations. They've had a few different jobs maybe before they come to West Bloomfield. So they've seen some things so far, but for others it is, as Stephen mentioned, their first job. What does the mentorship program look like for each individual teacher?
Well, we always start off this school year with some training for the new teachers, and we try and make that fun, along with the curriculum. So we take a tour of the whole district, and everybody gets to visit all the schools. We have the principals come out along with staff. They get swag from the district. So we're building that excitement that they've come to West Bloomfield and that we're a special district. We also have a unique new teacher pantry where people donate items for the new teachers to shop in. And it's office supplies, it's bins, it's books, it's materials, it's borders, whatever they need. And that's been a huge thing. So we're cutting down the expense when a new teacher, gets into their classroom and they have nothing to put up, or maybe they've had some experience and just need some refresh. So the new teacher pantry has been a huge plus to our district. And then we tailor PD for those new teachers. So whether we will do PD just with elementary teachers, or this year we have a lot of PE teachers come in. So we'll do some specific PD for them, bring their mentors in to help them. And we do a lot of throughout the year, whatever the needs are, because every year is different depending on what new teachers we're getting and what their experience is.
It was also Teacher Appreciation Week as we're joined by Liz Costello and Stephen Toy, both educators in the West Bloomfield School District who are helping to lead the charge for the Teachers Union partnership with the school district for their new teacher mentorship program. But it's also Teacher Appreciation Week, and we hear all the time from people that they've had maybe those one or two teachers that they've had that have had an immense impact on their life. I think in my case of Mr. Bowers, Pete Bowers, my radio teacher from high school, and my 8th grade English teacher, Mark Honeyman, from back in the Bloomfield Hills School District come to mind for me. But whether you're celebrating a teacher because they are that impact teacher for you, or you've been in their classroom for a year, why is Teacher Appreciation, Stephen, such an important element of the year, both for the school district to provide to our teachers, but also the students also?
That's a great question. There are a lot of intrinsic rewards for teaching. I think we go into teaching because we value the relationships we have with students and the joy and the pleasure we get from watching them grow and learn. Teacher Appreciation Week is important for some other reasons, though, too. It formalizes the appreciation we have and we show for our teachers. And I think it also shows our students that this is an important profession in our society. We need to recruit young people to go into education. There's been a dearth of young people picking education as a career path in the last decade, and it's time to rebuild the pipeline and the supply of teachers that we have in Michigan. So formalizing this event and celebrating it kind of shows our teachers that this is a good career path, and they know how influential their teachers are, and if they're good with their skill set and if they want to help our society, they should try to come into teaching too.
Again, we're joined by Stephen Toy and Liz Costello from the West Bloomfield School District as we talk about teacher appreciation and the mentorship program for new teachers in the West Bloomfield School District, all of which you can learn more about by following them on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools or keeping updated on WBSD.org. Liz, before we go, what message would you like to convey to students, to the community, to parents about Teacher Appreciation Week and just what this does mean to our educators?
That's a big ask. I think I agree with Stephen. Like, teaching is an amazing profession. We put our heart and soul into teaching, and we do it for the kids. And so we want other people to have the same gratification that we get. So get into teaching. We really need some good teachers, and we're hoping as teachers to create those lifelong learners. So what better people to come into teaching?
Absolutely, and you can learn more information about teaching in the West Bloomfield School District and get in contact with people across the district to learn more about opportunities on WBSD.org. Liz, Stephen, thank you both for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Glad to have both of you on. Thank you for another successful year. Just a few more weeks left. Our seniors will have their final day at the high school level on May 17th. And then the rest of the kids, they have their final day, a half day on June 7th. Just a few more weeks away. So as we wrap up the year, make sure to get back into your classroom, send your teachers an email, thank them as you're picking up your kids. Make sure your kids are being thankful and respectful as well. They have, of course, had a very long year, and they spent a lot of time impacting our kids each and every day. So it's a really important effort, Teacher Appreciation in the West Bloomfield School District. They have made a Facebook post about their Teacher Appreciation Week. Here's a challenge for you. Go on to the Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools. Go on to that post. Make a post thanking a teacher specifically in your kid's life, or kids, maybe at the high school level and middle school level if you're on Facebook. Make a post as well. We know that has a big impact on our teachers, Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love our educators, man. Like I mentioned before, you think back to some of the teachers that you feel like gave you a hard time, or just some of the teachers that challenged you, and you might not have liked it at the time, but then you look back and you're like, wow, they were really like trying to put me in a better position, trying to put me ahead, trying to have me think forward, and you got to appreciate and love that. So just thank you to all the teachers who sometimes go above and beyond with the resources and their time to not only make sure our students have what they need, but to make sure that they're educated. So thank you again to our teachers. Much needed.
Yeah, plenty of more information can be found on Teacher Appreciation Week. And, of course, the post that you can comment on the West Bloomfield School District's Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools. I want to give you some information on a special community celebration that will be celebrating some history. And we talked about education in our community. Many people have had their favorite educators impact their lives or have grown so many memories at Roosevelt Elementary School for over 100 years in Keagle Harbor and across the West Bloomfield School District. Of course, this is the final year for Roosevelt School before they will shut their doors for good on June 7th on the last day of school for those elementary school students. But before they do that, next week, Kevin, they're going to have a special celebration at their current location, New Roosevelt, formerly known as Abbott Middle School. They will have a special celebration commemorating these 100-plus years of education and memories being built at Roosevelt Elementary School. I was able to be over there yesterday for a little bit of a walkthrough. We'll have some coverage of that event here on Civic Center TV next weekend as well and into the week after that. So they're going to have a lot of the old trophies and pictures and so much memorabilia from across the years at Roosevelt out on display. They'll have some boards and paper up that you can write your memories down. Plenty of interaction between the generations at Roosevelt and a special presentation that will include some music from all classrooms and all grade levels in the final class of Roosevelt School. Going to be a great event out there on May 15th.
Trust me, I could understand the connection that you have just with not only just teachers, but just even the building that you did. That's probably the place where you have the most memories. One of my former schools is no longer standing, and I completely understand. Like, you just think about the memories and just everything. It's heartbreaking, but at the end of the day, I mean, always moving forward, never backwards. You know, it's just greater things to come. And it's a good thing that they're, you know, at least celebrating the memories and the history of Roosevelt Elementary.
Yeah, I'm a cheesy guy, Kevin. So when I go to these places that have had some sort of impact or I have some memories, you know, I go back into these rooms or go back outside these buildings, and all that stuff comes flashing back into my mind. And it's almost like I'm right back in that moment, doing a little bit of time travel in my crazy head over here. And you know, that's a great opportunity to do that. And I misspoke earlier. It's May 17th, a week from this Friday at 5 o'clock until 8:30. They'll also have their Roosevelt Carnival there as well. So plenty of memories to share with the community, and trips down memory lane throughout the current Roosevelt Elementary School building as we, of course, get ready for the final days of Roosevelt before they shut down that elementary school, and the new era of our elementaries in West Bloomfield begins next school year. More information can be found on that celebration on the Facebook page of the West Bloomfield School District. Again, that is facebook.com/West Bloomfield Schools, or learn more on WBSD.org. Kevin, it's also garage sale season across our communities. There'll be a couple of those coming up around the Memorial Day weekend time of the year, just a couple weeks out in Keego Harbor. Their citywide garage sale will take place over Memorial Day weekend, Thursday through Sunday, leading into that Memorial Day event across the city. You can get the date of the event, find more information on KH Parks on Facebook or on KeegoHarbor.org. Also, KeegoHarbor.org is a good place to go to get information on if you want to join in on the garage sale. You may need to get some permits in Keego Harbor. Or also right next door in Sylvan Lake, their citywide garage sale right around the same time, Thursday, May 23rd through Saturday, May 25th across the entire city. More information on that citywide garage sale and what you may need to do if you want to participate, any permits you may need to get, or other information you may need to know, contact you may need to make, sylvanlake.org for all of that. Again, it's one of those sort of spring cleaning, summer cleaning events that helps people get out and about, meet some of their neighbors, and maybe find some hidden treasures across the Tri-Cities.
You just said it, Tyler. See, you go to these type of events, you try to get out there early first and foremost, because all the good stuff will be gone early. You know what I'm saying? Don't get there at 2, 3 o'clock and expect, hey, where's all the good stuff? It's gone already. All right. So if you want to get the real good entertainment systems, the bikes or whatever types of stuff, or if you just want to get rid of it and have an opportunity to sell it, then this is the great event. I love this being citywide, by the way. I love that the city is promoting that.
Yeah, it's all through their parks and recreation committees, both in Keego Harbor and in Sylvan Lake, leading the charge on this, and then always gets great turnout every year. So many people participating, gets people out and about, meeting some of their neighbors as well. So again, KeegoHarbor.org for the city of Keego Harbor, SylvanLake.org for Sylvan Lake. Kevin, also opportunities to connect many of our communities, not only in Greater West Bloomfield, but even in surrounding areas. Coming up on Saturday, June 1st, really cool event happening out on our trails. It's called Table to Table. It's a third annual ride that will go between Novi and Sylvan Lake, right back out to the Wixom and Novi area. It all begins, it is a 25-mile ride across many different trail systems in our local community. They'll begin at the drafting table in Wixom. We'll travel down the Michigan Airline Trail, which connects into the West Bloomfield Trail and into the Clinton River Trail, terminating in Sylvan Lake at the beautiful Sylvan Table Restaurant. Great place to stop, have a quick bite to eat with some great food grown right at that location in Sylvan Lake. Then what they'll do, they'll turn right back around, go the other 12 and a half miles back to Wixom to finish off the day. Now, you don't have to stay around for the entire ride. If you want to ride part of the way, maybe get a ride out to Wixom, come back into town over here and take the 12 and a half miles and call it a day, that's perfectly fine, but a great way to connect all of our local communities here on our beautiful trail systems, especially as we celebrate National Trails Month.
I don't know, man. 25 miles, man. I might meet you there somewhere. Don't ask how I got there. I have my bike uniform on and my bike. But don't ask how I got here so fast. I think it's a great event, though. Godwin, we have a great, great day for weather, too, on that day. And it'll be a great way to burn off some calories and meet some new people.
Absolutely, Kevin. I live out by the Michigan Airline Trail, so you know what? I may not participate in the bike ride, probably because I don't have a bike. But other than that, it's not important right now. I'll go out there, I'll greet the people, I'll wave goodbye to them as they head out to Sylvan Lake and say, hey, give us a big hello out of the Sylvan Table from the Civic Center TV. Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. We're out of time for this Wednesday. Plenty more information to get to. Again, one more show this week on Thursday. Join us on civiccentertv.com, on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV, and on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. And then join us Friday morning, 7 a.m. for the Michigan Week Community Awards Breakfast. For our entire team at Master Control, Anthony Juba, Jake Schaff, Calvin Brown, Peyton Skeever, and Kevin McIntosh, I'm Tyler Keefe. Thank you for tuning in to The Splash Live.